Good afternoon, teachers and staff. Our Human Resources team, which includes myself, Charlin Riccio, Erik Steyn, Jade Varney, and Dorinda Hardy, are here to speak with you today about a recent concern that has been brought to our attention. We take this particular concern very seriously. Today we will be discussing the issue of sexual harassment in the school library. According to Dr. White, these unwanted behaviors can come from other teachers, other district librarians, administrators, vendors, and even delivery companies. We hope that by talking about this very important legal issue with you today, you will feel more comfortable bringing this issue up to the appropriate person or persons in the event that it happens to you. By talking about this today with all of you, we hope to do the following: validate the experiences of our staff, make sure all staff understands what sexual harassment looks like in all forms, and create a culture of respect and safety for all of our employees. We also want you to know that these types of behaviors will not be tolerated whatsoever, and the harasser will be held accountable for his or her actions. To begin, sexual harassment is widespread in the United States. According to data from national studies, 81% of women and 43% of men have experienced sexual harassment, while 1 in 4 women and 1 in 6 men have experienced sexual assault. Sexual harassment can be any type of behavior that includes the following: inappropriate comments, commenting on your appearance, jokes of a sexual nature, putting down members of a particular gender, repeated staring, displays of sexually suggestive materials, as well as single or repeated behaviors that could create a hostile environment. Physical harassment may include cornering, pinching, patting, stroking, touching, kissing, grabbing, hugging, or bumping, as well as coerced sexual intercourse and assault. Another type of sexual harassment is called quid pro quo. This is where employment decisions are made based on an employee's submission to sexually harassing conduct. In this case, the harasser typically has some supervisory authority over the victim. According to Watstein, everyone deserves the right to work in an environment free from any type of harassment, an environment where respect for an individual is encouraged and safeguarded. We hope to create a culture in our school library where sexual harassment does not occur. The library should be a safe place for everyone that walks through its doors. We are here today to let you know that we support you and that it is okay to stand up and say something.
Hello, my name is Erik Steyn, and I'm here to speak with you briefly about some of the history of this sensitive topic as it pertains to the library profession. I will also go over some of the legal history of sexual harassment laws in the United States as they apply to our current school library working environment. Beginning with the creation of the American Library Association in 1876, a more concentrated effort was made by public librarians to address public school needs. Melville Dewey, one of the founders of the ALA, wrote that the work of the school is simply this: to teach the children to think accurately with strength and with speed. It is with Melville Dewey, considered by most to be the father of modern librarianship, that the topic of sexual harassment comes to bear. Dewey is rightfully renowned today for his groundbreaking work establishing the Dewey Decimal Classification System. At the turn of the 20th century, Dewey held a position of great power in a profession predominantly staffed by women. Numerous allegations of sexual harassment were levied against Dewey in the early 20th century. However, since he was operating from a position of power, Dewey was never truly held accountable for his actions. Instead, in exchange for his quiet departure, he was spared from legal action by the ALA. Many of his highly inappropriate actions were kept from public knowledge until fairly recently. By most historical accounts, Dewey took advantage of his position of power to harass several different women. Although far from impossible, it is less likely that consistently reprehensible behavior toward women and minorities that Dewey was accused of then would be tolerated today. Many legal protections have been put in place to stem the types of actions Dewey was accused of. According to the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, the, quote, unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical conduct of sexual nature constitutes sexual harassment when submission to or rejection of this conduct explicitly or implicitly affects an individual's employment. Bottom line is that sexual harassment is not only morally wrong on a human level, but it is in fact illegal. Sexual misconduct and harassment laws in the United States are enforced and punishable by fines, probation, or jail time. Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964 reads, quote, it shall be an unlawful employment practice of an employer to discriminate against any individual with respect to his compensation, terms, conditions, or privileges of employment because of such individual's race, color, sex, or national origin. The Title VII law of the Civil Rights Act of '64 was originally put in place to protect workers from sexual discrimination, but has evolved to cover many different forms of sexual misconduct in the workplace. Sexual harassment is a form of sex discrimination that violates this law. This law offers protection to all employees working in all school environments. A network of support exists in each school system. Administrators, school social workers, school security, and fellow teachers are all part of a system that should work together to create an environment in the school building where all employees can feel that they are in a safe space, free from the threat of sexual misconduct. School librarians need to be at the forefront of this distribution of knowledge relating to sexual harassment. By acquiring, organizing, disseminating, providing access to information and resources pertaining to sexual harassment and the laws relating to it, school librarians offer an invaluable service to their school community.
Good afternoon, administration, teachers, and staff. My name is Jade Varney, and as a part of the HR team, I would like to thank you for being here today and listening as we discuss a delicate but necessary topic. Remember, the school library is not a separate entity, but a part of our school as a whole. With that said, the library is often considered the hub or main gathering place of the school. Harassment of any kind within the library is sure to impact not only the environment of the library itself, but the entire school. Harassment of any kind can lead to a hostile environment. Let's take a moment to discuss the many effects sexual harassment can have on the library worker. According to a 2002 survey, 42% of all school employees report that they had been harassed by a coworker. Sexual harassment can have devastating effects on a person's well-being. A person may experience the following: psychological effects including depression, denial, shock, anger, fear, frustration, insecurity, embarrassment, shame, and guilt. Victims may also experience physiological effects such as headaches, lethargy, weight fluctuations, nightmares, and other sleep-related issues, panic reactions, loss of appetite, high blood pressure, and a weakened immune system. So what does this mean for the library? Sexual harassment in the library or throughout the school can cause the victim to experience such negative effects that there will be an increase in absenteeism, feelings of job dissatisfaction, and tardiness. There are also cases where the victim of sexual harassment resigns altogether. Another reality facing school districts when sexual harassment issues are ignored or not handled correctly could be lengthy legal proceedings. This could cause the victim and other employees continued stress and poor work morale. Additionally, litigation could attract unwanted and adverse publicity to the school library. If sexual harassment is taking place in the school library, it can affect the overall atmosphere, creating a toxic and hostile environment. Studies have shown that harassment in the workplace has a demoralizing effect and can drastically affect productivity. And last, even if the behavior is among the adults, such an environment could also persuade the students against visiting the library, affecting student outcomes and success.
Hi, my name is Dorinda Hardy, and I am going to share with you how the library should respond to sexual harassment. Our goal is to educate you and prevent sexual harassment in the future. One of the most important things that we can do to prevent sexual harassment is to provide training for all library and school staff each year on sexual harassment behaviors and policies. Through the training, we will address the need for school policies to be updated yearly and clearly state what is considered to be sexual harassment, cover reporting options, bystander training and intervention, and the consequences for offenders of our policies. To minimize sexual harassment, each year all library and school staff members are mandated to complete anti-sexual harassment training. We believe this is not a once and done type training, but an ongoing opportunity to train, create conversations, and efforts to address and promote a continuing awareness of the problem. During the yearly training, we will review the process in which to report a sexual harassment complaint and the grievance process in which immediate and appropriate action will be taken. Another way in which we can be proactive against sexual harassment is to create a task force in our school. This volunteer group will work closely with administration to prioritize training, raise awareness, and create a culture of safety and respect for our school staff. As we move forward, this anti-sexual harassment task force will brainstorm ideas, conduct surveys, promote training and awareness. They will seek to minimize the potential impact of sexual harassment in the library and the school community. In our high school library, we propose to further promote taking a stand against sexual harassment by creating a display in the library with a simple #MeToo sign and relevant books. Our teenagers also deal with this topic, and we believe we need to teach them to speak up and stand against sexual harassment and sexual violence at a young age. As librarians, we want to be relevant to our teens and offer opportunities to teach them to stand up for themselves and speak out for others. As we work together as a team, we believe we can create a culture in our library and throughout our school of mutual respect. Let us each do our part to make the library and our school a safe place for us to work in and our students to learn and grow. Thank you for your attention to this very important concern today. We hope that by addressing this issue and raising awareness, that we can eliminate sexual harassment and its potential impact for our library, its staff, and our entire school community.